Yeah.
Wonderful.
I'm too old to be bothered. Yeah, I've been down here since 20 minutes to 1.
Oh, I'm sorry that we kept you waiting so long.
Now,
We didn't mean to, but...
Now, this first question, my mouth is driving this thing. The first question you wanted to ask was about I got it in here.
I got
You
a copy of them
yours.
right here if you want
I
to.
got mine, too.
Okay.
I got everything. Okay.
Okay, today is Tuesday, February 11th.
Mm-hmm.
We're here speaking with Deseree Liddell. My name is Kevin Gray, and with me is Ann Duffy from Reed Memorial Library. And we just came here to ask you some questions because frankly we're fascinated
that's
with
what
your
I'm
life.
getting ready for.
Mm-hmm.
My lips is dry.
Sure.
I had the pleasure to hear you speak at the Portage County Historical Society a couple years ago when you gave a talk about your book, and that was wonderful to hear.
Oh, so you were there?
I was there, yes.
Where?
Up at North Chestnut Street at the Historical Society. It was a couple years ago.
Oh, I've been so many places, I don't know. Okay, we can get started, because we're 20 minutes late.
Okay, so question number 1. The question was, what are some of your earliest memories of Ravenna?
Now, that's a book right there.
That is,
It
yeah.
is.
Absolutely.
Moving through, my subject is moving through fear and racism.
Mm-hmm.
We arrived in Ravenna at 10:30, riding a Greyhound bus from Durant, Mississippi. And we bought a one-way ticket. The ticket agent asked, why are you niggas all buying one-way tickets? Nobody buying a round-trip ticket. And so she threw the ticket at us as we were coming up, you know. When we arrived in Ravenna, the streets didn't have names. So we went by the numbers on the mailbox.
Okay.
And the cab driver, he had been here all these years, so he knew the old landmark. He said, you talking about the lady with the green curtains hanging in the window? And I said, I don't know what curtains she have, but he took us there to my husband's Aunt Edna's house in Skill. Oh, so...
How many people were living in Skeels at that time? How big of a community was it?
Huh?
How many people were in Skeels back then when you first came here?
I'm just getting there. I haven't set my suitcase down yet.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we arrived at my husband's Aunt Edna's house, and she invited us in and made us welcome. We only met her one time. So she had 2 children, aged 6 through 12, and we were very tired from the trip, and we wanted her to show us a room where we could, have privacy and get undressed and get cleaned up for a minute or two. And the house had 4 rooms. And finally, she pointed us to a space that didn't have a door. So I opened my suitcase, and I always carried a little hammer in my bag, and I put the strings up there and put to make a door for us where we have privacy, And we had a space heater, and I was afraid to go to sleep because I smelled fumes. And so you were asking how many people was in Skills at that time. It was so scattered at that time. I didn't give you the year, did I?
No, I don't think it's
1951.
Okay.
So the people were just coming in from different points in the South,
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't tell how many people were there then because they were just coming in to me because where I was Skills wasn't nothing but woods and grass. That's all it was. And there was tall grass and woods, and we had to. I couldn't complain because my husband had to leave Mississippi because his life was threatened. And what other question you want to ask me? Maybe I can tell you about the roads then too. it was just a little path. The car could go. One car couldn't go. Only one car. Two cars. The other one have to pull off or get in the ditch for to come through. You know. So you can see this place, and this place here wasn't nothing but woods.
Yeah.
This out here. And very few people had electric, and most everybody had a lamp to carry when they walk at night, and an oil lamp in the house or a candle. And I was told when I was growing up, don't use a candle because that was dangerous too, you know.
Sure.
So you had like an outhouse in the backyard and no plumbing, right? It had an outhouse in the backyard.
No.
Yeah.
No plumbing in this at all. What I'm talking to you all here is no plumbing.
Yeah.
You asked me, your question you asked me what was skills like.
Yes.
What was Ravenna's earliest memories. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Sure.
There was no plumbing. In my book I wrote, that's when we fought for the plumbing. We fought 20 years. No gas lines, and no fire hydrant. That's the first thing we fought for, fire hydrant. And because people build shacks out of this and covered it with this tar paper, we call it, but it's roofing. Yeah, or you can just light a match and it'll go up, you know. So that's what the people was building, these little shacks and covered it with roofing paper.
Where did most of the people in Skills work back then?
What?
Where did they work? What jobs did they have?
The arsenal, Ravenna Arsenal. That's where my husband got a job when he came. And so, let me see where I am now. The grass was tall. I told you about that. And the family wouldn't cut the grass no more than just enough to get up to the house. And grass was up here on both sides, and I couldn't understand that. But there were snakes and rats because they had no garbage removal, no trash removal to take up. So you just throw your garbage out in the back, you know. And that's the way it was then.
A lot of people used to burn their trash back then. They'd take it in
They burned it, but you still got the stuff there, up high. That's why those rats and snakes and everything would come in, you know. So, finally, let me tell you about the house that I found after I left my Aunt Edna's. Finally, we found a shack to rent, and the floor was right down on the ground. It had one window, which you could not open, and it had cracks in the door. And the woman charged us $20 a month. We had to walk to her house to get the water, which was about far as from here to Marks.
Oh, wow.
And carried water in glass pails, because we didn't know nothing about plastic then, you know.
Yeah.
And we had 10 bucket. Okay. So I visited an old lady while I was living in this little place. And she was 100 years old. Now she owned about half of, almost a quarter of Skills. But she told me, I'm going to tell you exactly what she said. I visited an old African-American woman. She owned lots, and owned land, I should say. She was 100 years old. Her name was Miss Candace Robbs. I don't know whether you want to use her name or not. But she let me know right away that the community project must be okayed by her, and the church must be run by her.
What was her name again? Candace
Robb, R-O-B-B.
R-O-B-B.
Yes, and Candace, that's how she spelled her name, C-A-N-D-A-S. All right, let me get on. I asked her about the house that I lived in. I heard it was an old log cabin. She said, honey, didn't you know? And I stopped her right then because I didn't want her to tell me what about that house because I had to live in there and my husband worked nights and I was afraid. I said, oh, look at your plants. Your plant on the porch is so pretty. Oh, that's so pretty. And I just kept talking about that. And so I didn't stay there long because she was kind of a cold old lady, you know. And but let me tell you that I inserted this because to tell you how I felt about that house. I wish you could see that house. I said to myself, I don't like this place, but I'll stay where you put me, Lord. There are cracks in the door. I mean, it has no windows, and there's cracks in the door. Winter days bring sleet and snow. We have no place to go. I'll stay where you put me, Lord. We will always have tribulations, many and crosses to bear. As I lift my eyes to thee and cast up my doubts away in fear, I'll work where you put me, Lord. And that's what I said. That was the way I felt, you know. Mm-hmm. All right, and your next question was about that storm.
Mm-hmm.
I was still in that old house. This is something, you know, I don't like to live this long. All right, let's get on. The storm in 1956. We did not have electric in the shack, and we made sure we kept a battery radio, and we heard the storm was coming. I put my children to bed, and prayed. There were cracks in the shack, and we could hear the wind blowing. I always put rags in the door in those cracks, you know, to keep the cold out. But when that wind started coming, it blew those rags all over the floor, and splinters was falling over in our face and everything. And I had to go in the kitchen and get some pans to put the pots, I should say, the leak because the roofing was leaking. It didn't take the top off, so, but I put the wash tub in there to catch the water. I had to do the washing on my hand on a rub board. Mm-hmm. So that's 1956. Is there any more questions on that? Not
Do you remember walking through town and seeing the damage?
Huh?
Do you remember going through town and seeing the other trees
Who?
knocked over during the tornado? After the tornado, did you go through town and see all the trees that were knocked over?
It was terrible. And everybody was just so surprised that it didn't take us away. It took away a lot of people. You know, it took the tops off the house, but that old shack by being a log cabin. I didn't know it was a log cabin. No wonder it was, but they tried to cover it up, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I always, is there any more questions you want to ask on that?
No, that's good. I think the next one is about the old courthouse in town. Do you remember the old courthouse?
Maybe we should get to that one. All right, here we are, the old courthouse. I'll get to this a little later because that's important. The old courthouse had restrooms in the basement. It seems that they were never cleaned. One side of the place was locked. It had a lock on it. It said white women only. And finally, through the years, somebody took that sign off, but they left it locked there. So you understood you couldn't get in there, but they were side by side. And I think the white men went in there too, you know. Mm-hmm. And our side was so nasty, it was pitiful. But I might add, my husband worked with the construction company that built the new courthouse.
Oh,
but
wow.
that was years later. Mm-hmm. And the next question you asked was, what do you...
Yeah, the next question says, what did your family do for fun?
About fun?
Did you go to the movie theater in town or visit the park?
Yeah, right, I get it. You know, this is a book, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've had a lot of life.
Now, what did we do for fun? We went to the movie when we could spare. I think the movie was about 10 cents or something like that. I'm not sure about that. But we stayed there and watched the movie twice just to get out of the house. and the church was our home away from home. That's where everything went on there. The children being taught, and that we had debates going on, quartets and choir rehearsals and all that kind of stuff, you know. So the church was a busy place.
Where was the church located? What church did you go to?
The church was on Hayes Road that I went to. It was called Live Wire. But it's a beautiful church down there now on Hayes Road. Mm-hmm. And it was a shack with tar paper, you know. But it was a place to meet. Mm-hmm. And people coming from all points in the South, they like to meet and talk, you know. And let me tell you about one thing they really wanted. People that come from the South, first thing they want to save money and build a home. Mm-hmm. And that's what they did. You could build a house on one lot. Nobody checked it, no building inspector. And you could, of course they had no electric, so nobody was coming out here anyway, you know. And there's some people who could afford it had 2 lots, but very few, you know, could have 2 lots. And let's see, the church, that was everywhere. If you could go to church, that you could stay all day and all night. The women exchanged recipes, and the men talking about how they build these shacks, you know, using the hammer and the saw. It was just, and the kids would play ring games, and we'd have cakewalks for money for a fundraiser, I should say. Okay. And, the next was about the park, wasn't it?
Yeah. Did you guys enjoy the park?
When late in the year, now this is years later now. This is not, that's what I say. Each one of these pages I pull is a year, 3 or 4, maybe 8 years later. All right. Later the people would go to, a few of them would go to the park. So one person that was in charge asked me, why don't you people keep your children in your own neighborhood? Don't you have swings and sliding boards in your neighborhood? We don't want niggas up here. I can see her face now, and I can tell you what kind of dress she had on. She had a blue dress, and that's been years ago. Mm-hmm. And so, but I tell you what we had in our neighborhood for a community center. We had a train caboose. You know what a train caboose
Yeah.
is? Okay. And someone came in to teach crafts, to teach the children crafts, but that's all we had. And we had an old rubber tie, you know, that the kids could swing back and forth in. And that's what we had. And a person named Clara Jacobs, she was one of the cooks at the Boys Club. Now, her name is up there. It's all over your place, I know. Because actually, it was a hard time to get her to come out there. Mm-hmm. But she came and taught the children one session how to make Rice Krispie cookies, you know, with the honey and powdered milk. Okay. Mm-hmm. And she looked like she wasn't very happy at all. But she worked with the white boys club until she passed away.
So was that her?
Clara Jacobs.
Was Clara's job to do that? Was that her employment?
What?
She was a volunteer, or she was getting paid to do that?
She was paid to do that.
Okay.
And anyway, she wasn't from our part. She thought she's better than us. She wasn't from us.
Yeah.
I don't know how they got her out there. All right. So that's 4B. What's your next question?
It says, tell us about any traditions that have been passed through your family, and what holidays are like for you. What sort of celebrations are
Now, the
there?
holidays, we always, the tradition that we kept up with the family prayer, and still do. And we celebrate all the Black histories. That, Black history, Juneteenth that just came in and all that. And we just celebrate that. When we go to church, that was a celebration. Church was a celebration. Because when the people in the South worked in the fields all day, the only thing they had was the church, to go to church on Sunday. That was it. Okay.
How long was a church celebration on Sunday usually? How long did it last?
How long was? That stay there? We go there from Sunday school about 9 o'clock in the morning and leave there about 10 at night. and hate to leave then. All right, let's see now. What else we have here? Oh, well, we'll get to that later. But I want to tell you, I always believe in organizations. I like to have something. It's not but three of us here. Let's organize something. I don't care what you organize. If you want to organize something, let's organize. So the first organization we set up, this was still out there where all the shacks was 3 women and 4 men in it. And they organized, they wanted to have a Christmas club. And I always wanted to have something educational, but I wouldn't just push it on people, because you can't just come in with a group of people you don't know and tell them that. So they say, we're going to have a Christmas club. So we met once a month. They put the little money in. About 3 months after they put it in, they all wanted it back out. It's like, I need to buy some oil for my stove. I need to get me some cigarettes and all that kind of stuff. And so we met and gave them the money back. That was the first organization. And the last organization, this was supposed to be the elite. I didn't organize this one. This was many years later. It was organized with people from Ohio Avenue. You know where that is? Urbana Avenue and Lake Street. We meet once a month.
Who else was in the elites? It was you, and who else was in there?
They said it was going to be a Bible club. That's what they said.
Okay.
But it was one black social worker in this area at that time. So she used to come to our church and she said, "Do you want to come?" And I said, I was glad, I thought I was getting somewhere. And so knowing those people that I made on those streets thought they were up there,
Sure.
So I went to the meeting. The first meeting I went to, the time spent when you walk in, they start to talk. Where did you get this chair? That's beautiful. Where did you get that? Look at your drapes. And that's all they talked about all night. And I said to myself, I can't say nothing because I just have to sit here and look close. And my goodness, let's look at your beautiful tablecloth. And I said, and then finally they spent about 10 minutes teaching the Bible and pass out food, but they did that going to each house. There was 14 members in that club. And so each member, when it got time to speak, for me to speak, I'm going to tell you, I felt very sad because the way they acted. They said, well, the next meeting will be at Deseree Liddell's place. Well, I didn't want them to come to school, not out that way I live. As a matter of fact, they wasn't coming anyway. But the lady that lived there, Helen Fulham, on Urbana Avenue, she said, you can have at my house if you want to. I said, okay. So, I don't know, like I said, they said, most of the members said, oh, I can't make it next meeting. No, I can't either. I have a commitment. And they, each one, it was 14 of them. I got someplace to go. So they closed. So the next time I met at Helen Fulham's house, 6 members came. And I discussed Gil Brown's Prophet. You know that book? Gil Brown's Prophet?
I don't think I do.
Gil Brown?
I don't think.
G-I-B-R-A-N, the prophet.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
That's a deep book.
Yes.
So the 6 that was there, they said, wait till I see the rest of them. Oh, they was blown away that they should have been there to hear that. So they met a couple more times and that folded. They didn't have that anymore. So what is your next question?
Here.
Yeah, we're asking, what's your life like now? What is your day-to-day life like?
Wait a minute there. That would be, I got it here. That's a book there. I got it right here. Oh, let me get this is important. I haven't heard nobody do this one.
Sure.
Now, everybody had a saving mindset. They wanted to save money, and the children, even the children wanted to save money. And they'd pick berries, pick apples, shovel snow, whatever, and get a scrap iron. Scrap iron, you could find that here. And it was expensive. You get some scrap iron, you had some money. So the young people was always trying to find a way to make money so they could buy the things they need. And the Urbana High School, not the high school, but the Urbana Junior High School and the elementary school started a project called Thrift, Thrift. Mm-hmm. And it taught accountability. And each class, they'd give them a folder, put the money in, they bring it in once a month. And the teacher counted and take it to the bank,
Oh, wow.
But it lasted 2 or 3 years. But the teacher said it was taking up too much of their time and to check each child's amount and then take it down to the principal's office. So that folded. And I tell you what they did. They said, take your money to the bank. And they had 3 or 4 banks in Urbana. Take your money to the bank and start a Christmas savings there. So I tell you what bank would take that money. You know where Gridio's is located, Gridio, whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bank once upon, back in what I'm talking about. That was a bank.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it was a Dr. Sy. He was what you call the president of that bank. And so the kids that wanted to put their money in the bank there, all my children put their money there, And my daughter, after she graduated from high school, she had a pretty good bank account there. Because every month she put her money there, And that was one thing I never heard people talk about, but Urbana did try to help the kids,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was the junior high and the elementary. Now, you want to see something about what is your life like? You will never know. I'm a lifelong learner. I know who I am, and in the battle is where you learn most of who you are. If we read everyone's history, no one's history will be lost. And that's what I believe in doing. If you read my book, I would try to meet with people of all races and talk about your country, my country. And that's how we, that's just me. I love that. And so I think that's the way it should be. As James Baldwin said, history comes and we carry history with us. All of us are making history right now. Okay. And some of the most popular, I believe in working with young people. That's what and old people. Old people have the wisdom. And my grandmother, she was a daughter of an ex-slave. And I would sit and just listen to her and talk and talk and talk. And she said, if you will listen, you will learn. That's what they said, just listen. And that's what I believe in doing. And so the biggest threat to the American future is what we are doing to our children. Just look when you turn the TV on and how they twisted everything around. That's what I'm talking about. I could go on. And each one of the young people you people got to blaze your own trail because you all are young. It's up to you all. I talk to young people like you all, young African American and white too. And I'm involved with a lot of white people's programs too,
Yeah.
But it took 70 years. I've been in 70 years working in this place. I've been living here over 20. So, and you want to know something about me yourself that be surprised to learn.
Yeah. What would we be surprised to learn about you?
Maybe I'm a little bit impatient because when I wished I could be better, but I can't because just like I was waiting for you all, and all the hundreds of people that I have met with, I just believe in being on time.
Sure.
Yeah, that's me. And if you're not on time, I'll give you 20 minutes and 30 at the most, and I'm gone.
That's more than
and
fair.
they know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know it. And so one of the professors told me, he said, don't you know everybody can't be exactly on time? But I'm exactly on time.
Yeah.
Always. Because like I say, I came here 20 minutes to 1. Well,
Sure.
that's way before time, you
Yeah.
know.
What's your favorite kind of food?
Huh?
What's your favorite food?
Oh, let me think about it now. I eat 5 small meals a day. I don't eat much. But my favorite food is dessert. I had my doctor laughing. I said dessert. But that is my favorite food, though, because we learned years ago how to take nothing and make something out of it, you know.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I have seen my people didn't have nothing but a bone. I mean a bone. And they took it and put it in the pot and put some cornmeal in it and cooked it, and that's what we had to eat. And so I eat what I want now.
Good.
And so I just, I have worked in this place for 70 years. It's time for you all to leave me alone.
Well, what's your secret to your long life?
What?
What's your secret to your long life?
Oh, just respect. I believe in respect in all people. And I like to exercise regular and study. I believe in studying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I read about 3 books a week. I got a library in my house. And so, and respect is the number one, because I came up in a place where you had to get off the street when you see a white person coming, and I just believe in respect,
Sure.
Yeah, if you respect other people, they'll respect you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care how prejudiced a person is. I found if you respect them, they will respect you. Mm-hmm.
I've got another question I just thought of. When you came to Ravenna back in the 50s, what businesses in town do you remember going to? Do you remember going to restaurants or stores?
Yes. What you call them? Oh, you didn't ask. I could have got that. His name, Scorman. Skorman. Skorman. Yeah, see, those questions, I just answered this.
No, yeah, you're fine.
All right, Skorman.
Mm-hmm.
IGA.
Mm-hmm.
And Mari, that place where you can go get your clothes on credit.
Mm-hmm.
But Skorman was number one.
That was your favorite?
You could go up there, save my little money and take me to Skorman. I could come back with nice things for the children and everything, Mm-hmm. And they had one black business uptown, but he was a shoe shine boy on Main Street. And that's the only black business they had.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And I was trying to think, and they didn't have no black funeral home, but they had funeral home here, but no blacks. Mm-hmm.
How about restaurants?
What restaurants we had was in the house. I come to your house, maybe you had a nice big place, maybe she would sell sandwiches, and stuff like that. But we didn't, and finally they opened up what you call Son Williams, a place called Son Williams in Skills. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going into McElris right now because at that time I didn't go,
Sure.
Oh yeah, and the most influential people at that time that they told me was influential was the Proctors and Smiley, the Smiley Cross town in McElris. The Proctors and Smileys, and there was another person I forgot. But those were the people I think that went to the meetings uptown. If they did, had to sit in the back. But at that time, I wasn't, I hadn't reached that point. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hadn't. When I reached that point was when the civil rights came in with the Community Action Council. Then that's when I spread it out. I spread my wings just like this. I went to the university for the first time, and the students didn't even know Skills was out there. Wow. But I brought them out there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so even now, I get cards, for my birthdays from some of the students that was there at that time, Uh-huh.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was Ravenna, because you can see how it look out there now. That's what Ravenna looked back. It's not look at that, the grass. Let's look at the trees. That's what it looked like.
Just like a woods, yeah.
And another thing I want to tell you about Ravenna. No black person better not be caught on the streets after dark in Ravenna. If you do, you go into jail. Now that's what the truth. And one person happened to be caught up there. He lived to be 100 years old. Lee Count. He just died here a few years ago. He was coming through there one night and they caught him. And I think he talked his way out of it. They was fixing to lock him up. But he was we're going to ride through town from the other side of town.
Sure.
So that's how we visit from the McElris to Skills. And I guess these people that I told you about on Urbana Avenue and places, they built each other too. That was their little circle, you know. Mm-hmm. But that was the elite circle. And so we didn't have no public restaurants right then, but Son Williams and Ed Bevel's had a place years later in Skills.
What years was that open?
What year that was? All this I'm talking about is after the civil rights.
Okay.
Yeah. What you gave me here was not civil rights stuff.
Sure.
But
Right.
you're all skipping over now into my book.
Mm-hmm.
Now my book will tell you about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I thought you wanted from me was just when it looked like in Urbana from 1950 up until the civil rights came, which was what, 61 or 2?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was a long time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I'm happy to be able to be here, but this is something that I'm tired of, you know? This.
That's understandable.
Well, we really love hearing your story, though, and I think a lot of people will love to hear this.
Yeah.
Is there something else maybe you wanted to ask me? I told you, let's see, yeah, I told you about this, but a lot of people didn't know about this strip thing at the school system.
No, they didn't.
No. And I know all of my children was in it. That's the reason why I wrote about it, you know. And
Yeah.
so that was beautiful because my kids, when somebody come in the house, every house you go in, I don't care if it was a shack, they'd have a piggy bank on the table and a Bible. And when kids get a little money, they put it in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But now, I don't. My grandkids don't think about saving. They think about spending.
Well, that would be a good thing for kids today.
Yeah, but my kids, they would kind of, I can't buy that. I can't buy that. I can't afford that. They would say, you know.
Yeah.
But now you don't hear that word, can't afford.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this is all stuff. I told you about everybody came from the South.
Yeah.
Most of the families came from the South, and they had been working on jobs where the boss told them what to do, and they could not think for themselves. Everybody that usually come from down there was invisible down there. So when they come up here and they find they could spread their wings, everybody talked, you know. Yeah, that's the way that was. And that was what I wanted them to do, to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sit back and listen. You know, a good way I learned to lead from the back. That's how I lived. Mm-hmm. I would sit back and listen to them talk. And maybe I'd throw out a sentence. And they say, oh, that's a good idea. And I just sit there and listen. That's how you get organized, you know. And they said, well, who? Maybe we should get organized here. Who could be our president? And that's exactly what I wanted to hear. Mm-hmm. That's exactly because they getting organized themselves, not me. And you know, I'm sitting back there watching. They said if you listen, you'll learn. And that's the way you do. And then a lot of times I have been a leader by leading in the middle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I'm never going to be up front. I'm going to tell you right now, never. But I have been. I'm never going to be up front.
That's fair.
But I want to get credit for something
Yeah.
that I've done. But I don't want to be standing up there. I'm here. I'm not that type of person. Mm-mm. I want to see the job done. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to be the one to say, I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I am. So I just like to see things work out. I used to sit and look at all these woods and wonder, will I ever get a house? And another thing I wanted to tell you about then, a lot of those people brought their cultures with them.
Mm-hmm.
They had pig pens. I forgot to tell you about that. Had pig pens out back. They had chicken, and they had gardens. And that's what they had.
So they raised a lot of their own food.
Mm-hmm. They brought it with them so they could feed themselves. But after the civil rights and all got organized, they cut all that stuff out. And you couldn't build on one lot no more. You have to have 3. So, but they started. That was a start, you know. And it took us 10 or 15 years to get the water. Just thinking going outdoor toilet for 10 or 15 years. The young people the one moved us off a dead center.
Yeah.
They the one moved us because I had young people in my family. I had 7 children, you know, and they would go to school and come back, and they said, "We coming back in this what they call it? I forgot what they call this place with this old cold heater outdoors, going into school with a warm school, and the white kids go home. They don't have to bring coal in the house and stuff, you know." And they say, I think you old folks are scared of white folks. That's what they said to me, you know, because I organized a youth group.
Oh.
And they said, now this is during the civil rights after they come out. And they said, I think you old folks are scared of white folks. And when they said that, I said, you can't go up there and do like you think you can do. Just break in the door and say what you got to say. I said, you have to map a strategy, you know. You have to have a strategy to do that. And it took a long time. Working with a group of teenagers or something. I had about 50.
Wow.
In my teenage group. They was glad to get organized, you know. And they would say, well, Miss Liddell, can we go with you sometime to the meeting? I said, no, because you have to map a strategy. You can't just walk in and go to talking. You have to wait, and if they give you an appointment, that's what you have to have. We don't need no appointment. We just gonna go in there and tell them what we think. I said, no, we don't do it that way. So that's how it started, you know. Mm-hmm. But the young people is the one move skills in that area. Yeah, they the one that moved it. But I went before, because they said they didn't want to talk to kids. Mm-hmm. But I would take what the kids were saying and put it where it should be put and take it to the meeting, you know. And let me tell you about one meeting I went to. The place was full. I had an appointment, too. And they set you up if you got an appointment counter to the front. Mm-hmm. The speaker came in. We all sitting there. He shook hands with everybody on that seat and skipped me. Mm. Yeah, all white was on the seat. And they said, how you do, skips over me. I had all that to go through with, and so when you all have me to do this stuff again, I'm tired of it.
That's understandable.
I'm tired of it. It hurts, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really hurts. And when people do you like that, I was a human, they didn't have to do you like that.
No.
And one meeting I went to, I had an appointment, and my president of the community meeting was with me. Everybody spoke, and the president up there, the meeting is closed. And we said, oh, if you didn't call, we don't have time for that tonight, they said. I said, well, we had an appointment. Here it is right here. We had the paper, you know. We ain't got time for that tonight. So sometime I drove home with tears in my eyes because it hurt.
Yeah.
But you didn't show it up there.
No.
No, you smiled. You put the mask on. You put the mask on. And as soon as I got in the car, the tears just rolling down. And I said, now look, I got to see the road. But that's the kind of life it was, you know. That's the reason why I say I'm tired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we definitely thank you for taking the time and telling us more about your life, and we didn't mean to cause you any pain.
What'd you say?
We thank you for taking the time to tell us about your life and your experiences, but we definitely didn't mean to cause you any pain by bringing up these old memories.
I think you have to speak a little bit louder.
Sure, sorry. I was just saying that we thank you for telling us about your life and your experiences, but we didn't mean to cause you any pain by bringing up these old memories.
Look, life is about pain.
Yeah.
And I have learned to endure. And I'm so glad. Yeah. And most of all, when you love people, people will love you.
That's very true.
Yeah, you will love you. At my 90, it wasn't 90, it was a 99 birthday, I had a stack of
Wow.
I had a stack of cards. It took me, I don't know how many weeks to read them because I wanted, some people I had forgotten, you know,
Sure.
over the years, you know. And I had a lot of contact with people and someone told me, social worker, she said, you know what, a lot of people know you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I appreciate that I could do this for you all.
And we appreciate
But
you doing it.
it was hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard. Because to go through this again the way I was treated, and most of all, I know how your people was going to treat me, but when your own people,
Yeah.
that hurt.
Yeah.
When, like I said, when I went to that, it was my time to speak at that, and they said, oh, I got another commitment. Oh, I got to go somewhere else. Now that hurt.
Yeah.
I could feel my heart say, boom. Yeah, but I already know about, you know, what the other people was going to do. But I've been hurt by both. And another thing I want to mention, I might crack, but I don't break. I'm a dark-skinned woman, but light-skinned was the thing in Mississippi and everywhere else when I was a kid. Even with my family, they didn't like dark-skinned people. And my grandmother told me, she said, you just go ahead on and study those books and come back and make us proud of you. And so I went back after so many years, and before she passed, she got to see me. Yeah, she got to see a lot of stuff. Not up here, though. She wouldn't dare come up here. She lived to be 90.
Wow.
So it just hurts to go over these kind of things again.
Yeah.
When you're young like you are, when somebody asks you about your life, in your life, you'd be smiling. Nobody asked me about mine when I was your age. But I was out there working, though. That was when I was your age, when I was doing all that stuff, you know. And you can dry your tears away when you're young and get up, and when you think about what you was taught, hold your head up high and go on out there and show them who you are. You don't have to go out there with your dukes up. Use your words to fight. Intelligent words. Yeah. So that's what I believe in doing. And so we'll now bring this meeting to a close.
Well, thank you so much for your time.